Welcome back. Today we're going to be working on the inside fold-outs of our album. We are not going to get totally finished with this, but we're going to get a good start. So you're going to need your magnets today, and you're going to need your glue, and of course you're going to need your paper cutter and such, but I have everything pre-cut so that we can get through this quickly and not take too long for this video. So the first thing we're going to start with are our folding flaps like this. So what we want to do, and these are the ones that are scored at 1/2 and 5/8, so they make kind of a square. This one's kind of lost its square a little bit, but it gives a little more room to fit over top of this fold out. So we're going to go ahead and put our art glitter glue on this inside of the flap. Okay, and we're going to take up our page like this. We're going to go to the very edge of this page and very carefully put it down at the edge. We want to make sure we're not so close that we're going to bind. And since that is such a small fold, I'm going to go up like this to make sure that none of that glue is going to transfer down and make our page glue shut. So, and we're going to do the same with this side. Okay, again, we'll close this for a second, and we will go to the outside of the page, outside the fold, bring it up and over, press it down, open it back out, and make sure it's along that first score line, and that with the second score line is showing, so that this will close without a problem. All right, so that one is done, and they're lined up good, and they're not going to bind when we turn that. So let's go over to the other side. And we're going to pick this up, go on the outside, line it up, open it out, there. Okay, that did not go quite where I want it. There we go. Give that a few more minutes to dry a little bit before we move it, or we're going to have issues. It's one thing about glue. If this was Scor Tape, I would not have been able to pick it up like that and redo it. That's what I like about the art glitter glue. It dries fast, but it gives you just a little bit of time to fix any of the oops that happened. Okay, let's do the other one here. And sometimes you'll see me add my art glitter glue with my Scor tape, and that is to help give me a little bit extra time. It keeps the Scor tape just a little bit wet so that if I need to move something, I can do that. Okay. Again, we're going to stand our book up. We go to the outside, line it up to the edge, fold it over. Okay. Open it up. Make sure it's not on that outer. Okay, and I'm gonna close my art glitter glue for a second here, just so we don't get clogged up. When it's got that small tip on it, it does like to dry fast. And for that reason, I do keep extras of those small tips around, so that if I have to go and soak one to unclog it, I have an extra so I can keep working. All right, so we have that part done. Now we're going to go all the way in to the inside. And we'll get our base page just for the inside. I loved this rose pattern to do this opening. We'll have these pages here. I also loved these scroll page type pages. Thought they were absolutely beautiful. So they will be part of this also. And I cut my papers again. I cut them 1/4 of an inch smaller than the measurements, so that I have about 1/8 of an inch border around. And you can change the width of your borders how you like. But you're going to want some borders so that you do not have any binding when you turn pages. You don't want them to bind up and bend. All right, so let's get this one in. Let's get it centered on here. All right, I'm going to close this side up to give us a little more room to work here. This over this way, and I'm going to put this one in. This fine tip, metal tip is so nice. Gives you very nice thin lines of glue so that you don't have to worry about your paper buckling, but it's enough to keep everything firmly adhered down where it goes. Okay. All right. We'll fold that in. We'll come fold those up and come over to the other side here. And we'll put our rose page down first. Now these are the, the pages I'm using in each part. And you definitely don't have to do it this way. You can pick whatever pages you want, where you want them, to create it, make it your own creation. All right, now let's get this other page in. Oops, got that too far out. There we go. Okay, there we go, and we'll close that up to dry. Before we go too far, we're going to open it up and just see how it looks together. All right, now time for magnets. I use these magnetic discs. I get them off of Amazon. They're small, self-adhesive, super slim, seriously strong. Now, these are self-adhesive, but I tend to like to put the glue underneath them to make sure they stay in place. Just kind of an extra security measure there. So you have negatives and positives. I want my magnets near this section here, towards the upper flap, towards the bottom of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking one of my positive magnets. Turn this sideways so you can see better. I'm going to take the adhesive off. And that just peels off. I'm going to put a little bit of art glitter glue on there. Now, we know that both these pieces are pretty big, so we know we don't have to worry too much about lining it up. You want it in the middle. You want it far enough down from the top that it does not cause an issue with being too close to the edge and getting stuck outside. How do I want to say that? That it doesn't, come too close to the edge and then slip out on you. I am going to take a scrap of paper. I'm going to put it down there. Now this was a positive, so the next one I'm going to take is a negative. And I'm going to let that find its mate there. So then I take this off. And there you have your self-adhesive. I'm going to put some art glitter glue on here. All right. And now, come back this way. I'm going to close the flap down and let it find where it's supposed to be. Then I will lift it off, and I have that piece of paper there so that it, oops, did that too soon. But it will easily separate. All right, so now we're ready for the bottom piece here. And what I did, since there's not a lot of paper in these packets, and I have 2, I really could have used 3, I think, and I may have to resort to buying 3. But anyway, I found paper in my stash that matches fairly well, that I think goes along with this fine. I'm going to use this for the bottom part that is pretty much hidden, and I'm going to glue that down. So I'm going to put my glue around the edges again. Put little arrows on these because they are pretty close to the same measurement on both sides. There's not a lot, and I didn't want to accidentally put it in the wrong way and then have to take it up and start over. So again, you want to have some edge around there, and that is done. We will close this and we will put the top on. Now here in my area, it has suddenly dropped temperature. We have a cold front coming through, and yesterday we were in like the 70s or 80s. Our high today is going to be the upper 50s. Art glitter glue cannot be shipped during cold weather. If it freezes, it's no good. So depending where you live, you want to make sure you have art glitter glue to get you through the winter season. So this is our flap that has the magnet, and this is our fold out, and we have the inside pages in. We'll do these pages and the lower flap another day. Let's get the other side put together. Okay, so we have our inner fold pages in. We are now going to look for where we want our magnet. Turn it sideways again so you can see better what I'm doing. I'm going to take a positive, take my adhesive backing off, use my art glitter glue, and we're going to place it down here, about halfway between each side, down enough that we're not going to worry about being too close to the edge. Now we'll take our negative. Oh, and he wants to go there. Take the adhesive off. Put some art glitter glue on. Bring it down, line up the edges, push it down so it adheres, pick it up, and take this extra paper out. All right, now we'll put the bottom piece down, which is the paper out of my stash for this side also. Okay, we got that down. Now this is a little different here. I'll move my book out of the way to do this. You will notice in our paper pack, see if I can find it here. We have this long, beautiful scroll. My album's not big enough for the full scroll. You would have to have a 12 by 12 album for it. So I had used the back as a backing for a background for something and had this left. I fussy cut it out, what was left. And on the bottom where it was straight, I kind of rounded the edges, and I'm using this as a background for this page, and I'm putting this down, hopefully making it look kind of like it's one page, and going around the edge. This will be a nice place the bride can document things, or she can put a picture on here. She can write what the menu was for the day. She can place a photo here, whatever she'd like. And I'm gonna try to center it as best we can on this paper. Make sure it's smooth, nice. The Stamperia paper a lot of times has shadows on the edges of these kind of items. I left that on there to try and make it look a little more cohesive with the paper behind it. Now we're gonna put it as the top of this fold out. All right. So we have this, and it folds out to here, folds out to here. I'll close that back up. We have this side, this opens out, and this opens out. Lots of nice places for pictures. Here it says save the date. If you had to save the date, you could put it here to show that if you like. Or over here, you could put the menu over here for the day, or a photo, whichever the bride would prefer. After all, it will be her memento book to put her day and record it. So that's where we'll end for today. We're going to let these pages dry, and we will come back and work on a few more pages in a couple days. So until then, I hope you enjoy crafting. I hope you are having a good time building your albums, and I hope to see you again. Happy crafting, everyone.